Hello and welcome to another edition of Video Breakdown. This week we have Nobody Speak.
Picture this, I'm a bag of dicks, put me to your lips, I am sick, I will punch a baby bear in his shit, give me lip, I'm gonna send you to the yard, get a stick, make a switch, I can end the conversation real quick, I am crack, I ain't lying, kick a lion in his...
What I like most about this AMV is the attitude. The music by DJ Shadow and Run the Jewels, it's just so awesome and definitely a throwback to the old school hip hop. Even though this video looks fairly complex, it's actually quite simple. So let's take a look. Of course, gotta do the classic zoom out. So the first item on the list is the MPAA ratings image, whatever you want to call it. So how I made this MPAA ratings image, I found a website that actually gives you a template for creating your own MPAA rating image. Then I added a film projector sound effect. This really added the idea and the imagery of a projector, when they had to actually physically put the film onto, the projector to play the movie. The next item on the list, we have the projector roll. It's basically the same thing as the VHS video glitch in the Kids in America video. Instead of doing a single vertical roll, it's a constant horizontal roll. First I created an adjustment layer, then I added a fast blur effect. I set the blurriness to 25, the blur dimensions to horizontal, repeat edge pixels. This kind of gives it a moving look. So now let's talk about the look. It definitely has that distinct 70s 35mm look. So I created an adjustment layer, and the first part is the widescreen bars. Basically, to get the widescreen bars, I just added a crop effect, and then I adjusted the top and bottom to 10%. I added a Lumetri Color SL Gold Western Universal color correction. This gave it more of that aged film kind of look to it. Yeah, and again, I was kind of going for that 70s kung fu movie kind of look. With this color correction effect, it allowed me to adjust the exposure to 0.7, and that's because a video overlay made the video too dark. I'll get to that later. Next, I added a noise effect. The amount of noise is 5%, and I didn't use color noise. Later on, I added a color balance HLS effect. Hue positive 5 degrees, everything else is set to 0. This was to make the colors just slightly off. Another element of the 70s 35mm look is the vintage grain video overlay. This is what gave it some of those grainy flecks, the weird colors, and gave it this cinematic darkness. For this video overlay, instead of using screen, I chose to multiply as my blend mode. This is what made the video look more darker. And now the last item for the 35mm 70s look is the Scratches video overlay. This applied a set of vertical film scratches on the video. Now this overlay's blend mode was set to screen, and the opacity was set to 75%. So next up, I'd like to actually talk about how I edited the video. So for those of you who have seen my other AMVs, you'll notice that I'm very precise and mechanical about where and when I make my cuts. I'll cut exactly on a beat or a lyric of the song. This is just how I do it. With this AMV though, I would occasionally do things differently. Sometimes I would let the clip run a bit longer than usual. I would cut before certain lyrics. It was just less mechanical and precise. Alright, moving along, we have the intermission part. So when making AMVs, it all starts from me thinking about the video. Like, I'll just think about different clips I can use for, different lyrics of songs and whatever. And this whole intermission section was in my mind before I even, started even cutting it together. So this is like, storyboard kind of stuff in a certain sense. This was another element of the video that I considered not doing because it reminded me too much of my earlier AMVs. In the beginning, I would just put the video of the opening song to fill in that space at the beginning of the AMV. I just felt it seemed kind of lazy to me. But in the end, it added more of that 70s movie theme. It gave you a moment to breathe, and I also thought it was funny, so there you go. Okay, right on. Next we have the flashes segment. So there are some clips that I use that aren't as visually stimulating as others. What I did was I took a black video clip, put an invert effect on it, and this acted like some kind of flash you would see in the Dragon Ball Z show. Okay, now we have the character picture pillars. On a separate program, I created an image. I equally spaced out 6 pillars across 1920 pixels, and I filled them with a unique color and used that as my guide for cropping the clips into place. After that, I just keyframed the position of the clips to move up and down for every 2 clips. I also keyframed the opacity to slowly fade out as both clips reach the top and bottom of the video. Alright, so the last thing of this video is the best of montage. So this idea is definitely an homage to the Dragon Ball Z movies, where they would put still images from the moments in the movie and roll credits on the side. This was an easy way for me to lazily fill in that last 20 to 25 seconds of the song while sticking with the whole movie theme. At that point, I just felt like the song was already over. You might have noticed that the best of footage looks different from the rest of the video. That's because what you see from the best of montage is the unfiltered, raw footage from the TV shows and movies. I just wanted to show off to the audience what I did to the original footage. Alright, okay. Before I go, I just wanted to add one last thing. So working with widescreen bars or even 4:3 bars like I did in my Kids in America AMV, you sometimes have to adjust the position of the footage to properly center the video. So what I wanted to add was that for one clip in the video, I added a keyframe position change. And what I loved about this is that it's so subtle that even I don't notice it sometimes. And I'm the one who edited the video. So that's just that last thing I wanted to say, and that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Check out the original video and tell me what you think.